get paid like enormously.
He
He has a
deserves it though.
he has a chance to get 20 sacks this year, and if that happens, that's
Yeah.
money,
Yeah, but he's a
money,
good
money,
player. No, he's
money.
probably going to be all pro this year too. I mean,
Back to NFL updates though, real quick.
sorry.
No, you're good. I figured something was important. Matthew Stafford, 200 reserve to review that. Kareem Jackson for the Broncos has been suspended for his final 2 games. Does not say why, but the Broncos lose a good piece on their secondary side to try and finish out the season. Then you have Mr. AJ Green, who is most likely going to get tagged by the Bengals, so he won't go anywhere. They'll pay him good money, but we don't know if he'll play again. Moving on, also Justin Simmons is in the talks of extending a deal with the Broncos, which might mean Chris Harris might either have to take a pay decrease to stay in town or let go because Denver is not does not have a lot of wiggle room on cap space. Titans are signing Greg Joseph, the kicker from the Panthers practice squad, because their own kicker is injured at the moment and they do need some help there. So, not surprised to see them moving on someone. Now you have a biggie with Odell Beckham Jr. Um, wow, this guy keeps telling, rumors keep coming out. He keeps telling teams throughout the whole season, come get me, come get me, come get me, come get me. And then now it goes in the locker room, oh no, no, Beckham doesn't want to go anywhere. But yet all these other players that he played against is saying, come get me. That means he wants out, folks. Jarvis Landry just got into a huge argument with Freddie Kitchens on the sideline about not getting the ball the whole game until the fourth quarter. I mean, I'd be upset too. Those are pretty two talented wide receivers, and they couldn't even get a chance to get the ball that late in the game. Come on now. Like, time to let it fly. You're
Can
obviously not
I
going to make the
can I
playoffs,
ask
Freddie.
this question?
You could ask any question.
Based on the 2 years they've been there, because they both got hired at the same time, who would you rather have as your general manager, Brian Gutekunst or John Dorsey?
It's Gutekunst.
Can you elaborate on that for me, please, my friend?
We'll see. Brian Gutekunst as a GM is literally, I feel like he's exploring every avenue. He comes out and says that, and everyone says, yeah, it's GM talk. No, he literally explores every avenue. I feel like if he would be at the grocery store and he'd notice a guy catching a loaf of bread real quick, he's like, oh man, that'd be a good punt returner. Like, oh, I'm wondering if he found Tyler Irvin like that, Jay. If Brian Gutekunst saw him like catch a loaf of bread at a grocery store, and he goes, "You want to come play punt return for the Packers, son?"
I I
I'm
I
just
I,
saying.
I have gotten a few phone calls about my availability to still run a 40-yard dash, but kind of snowed in up here.
From who?
Well, who do you think? He wants guys
Mm,
that can run. I mean,
mm, I don't think it's Brian Gutekunst. Um, but anyways, moving on to that, Brian Gutekunst. No, he's the type of GM. The way he runs the organization, he tries, like I say, tries to explore every avenue, and it reminds me so much of Ron Wolf. He learned from Ron Wolf in 1997 and forward when he was there, but he was a disciple of Ron Wolf. He was one of his scouts, starting out underneath him, and he just stayed in that franchise the whole time. Just kept moving up, moving up, moving up, moving up. Right with Elliott Wolf, John Dorsey, Reggie McKenzie, Ted Thompson, all of them. And he is a guy that has basically taken all this different stuff from all these GMs you hear about Dorsey, Reggie McKenzie, I mean Ron Wolf, Elliott Wolf, all these executives that he's been around. He's piled. It seems like he's piled it into one GMing pool to where if he needs to use something or try to do something, he knows a way to do it. He's like a multi-tool of a GM, is the way I put it. He really is.
no, I just think you're either a good GM or you're a bad GM. And I think John
You told me to
Dorsey.
elaborate. I elaborated.
No, no, I'm perfectly fine with everything you said, and I asked you to do just that. now I'm giving my 2 cents on it. Now, the funny thing I feel about is John Dorsey is a modern-day Pro Bowler. Name me one Super Bowl championship team he's built. And don't give me any of the mid-90s Packers, because I Googled him. He was a mid-level scouting guy for 5 years, and he had like 1 or 2 years as like the assistant, like head of the scouting department. He was never in the front office. He was never in the GM. He never sniffed player personnel like that, and he moved other places and did that. He never had anything to do with a high level of building any championship team or winning team in Green Bay. Like, the fact that people put that correlation together just tells me that they all they can remember is that he worked there. They didn't do their research. They have no idea what the hell he did there. Okay.
No, so his first official executive job was with the Chiefs.
Yeah. He was the president of player personnel. He didn't win. He hasn't won any rings anywhere. He's never built a championship team, and yet everybody tells me he's this great GM. When he was there in Kansas City, they were not a perennial Pro Bowl team. So tell me why does John Dorsey get so much love and credit for being this wizard of an exec? What has he built? Show me all the success from his teams he's had his hands directly on. I'll wait.
He was the one that did bring Patrick Mahomes to Kansas City.
He got fired before that draft, bud.
For 17? No, he was there. And then he went to Cleveland after.
Fired before that draft. Look it up. Google it. They let him go before the draft that year. He got let go before March, before free agency. He was gone. And everybody was surprised. They're like, oh, they've been doing so good. Yeah, and they fired him. Fired him. And still, what championship has Pat Mahomes won yet? I mean, everybody anoints him, but he's not having the greatest season now either.
It's also not been the greatest season for QBs anyways.
Well, that's because they put that stupid pass interference rule in there, and it's screwing everything up. It went the other way on them. There's been, I think, more offensive pass interference accepted this year than defensive. And I don't think they saw that coming. And it's got touchdowns and scoring way down across the league. You're still Googling that, aren't you?
Because it says on the Browns he was hired on December 7th, 2017.
Yeah, because he was fired before then, before they drafted Patrick Mahomes. That's why he was available. I'm telling you, man, my football memory is good, and I remember them going
on June
nuts.
22nd, June 22nd, 2017, they parted ways. He did draft Mahomes because I remember him showing a phone call with Mahomes on the phone. Your memory's crap. That's why I was like, wait a second.
Why did they fire him then if he's responsible for drafting Mahomes?
They didn't fire him. They had to part ways.
That's a dude getting fired. Like, you and I both know we're going to save face so we're not smearing your name, and we'll mutually part ways. You're fired. You know why he got fired? Because I bet you he was forced to draft Patrick Mahomes, and he wanted somebody else, and he's the big Mr.
Reed
Bravado.
Wanted to be the GM and the coach, and they gave him that, so Dorsey said, okay, I'll leave. I got another opportunity. So he probably had the Browns already on the hook.
They fired him. He didn't
No. Reed became the GM after him, man. That's why. And then I knew I was right about the whole Dorsey being there when they drafted Mahomes.
Again, okay, that's a sidetrack, though. Where's his ring? Where's his championship built team?
You kept saying that he didn't do it, and he definitely did.
Okay, he was there when they drafted him. I'm telling you, dude,
He made
there
the
is
move
no
to do
such
it.
thing as mutual. Like no guy and girl has ever mutually decided to break up. One person has decided they're done with the relationship, and then they talk and they try to make it easy on the other person and say, yeah, this is a mutual decision. The other person always walks away knowing they got dumped. They didn't mutually part ways. He didn't quit.
I know a
They
couple
didn't
people
like
that
whatever he was
part
doing,
ways.
regardless of that draft. And I have the feeling it has something to do with the fact that I bet you Reed wanted Mahomes, and he didn't. He wanted somebody else because he's like he.
How do you know that though? He was the
I'm
GM. They
saying-
picked.
Dude, he got fired for a reason. He
Dorsey
got fired, and they
called
gave the job to the guy, Andy Reid, for
fired.
a reason. Yeah, when you mutually part ways, you fire. When you mutually break up with somebody, somebody is breaking up with the other person. Nobody, no, that is the dumbest, lamest, most overly used excuse that is so bullshit. And anybody with a mute of common sense knows that shit. Anybody that's ever been in a situation where their boss comes to them and you leave the office and you're like, yeah, we mutually decided to part ways. Your ass got fired. You know that and I know that, Dave. Stop being like this. I hate it when you do this shit to me because you know damn well I'm talking the truth.
No, because if I agreed to part ways, I've known people that have done that before.
This is the NFL, dog. Nobody decides just to part ways. Somebody
And neither
doesn't
of us
like
been in
somebody
the
that's
NFL.
doing, and they fire the other person, but they have enough respect because they know, hey, this is a business. All it takes is one bad thing, and your ass isn't getting another job. We don't like what you're doing, but we'll let some other franchise. Maybe you'll go to our rivals and screw up their shit and make their front office a miserable hell. Like, that's the reason we don't want you here. And guess what? He's approved exactly that. He went to Cleveland. He got all the control. He did all this bravado shit. He trades offensive linemen for freaking outside receivers. He gets edge rushers and trades the interior linemen. Like, the dude is an absolute idiot. And he gets so much goddamn credit for doing nothing. Every team he's built has a bunch of shiny toys and names on it, but they never win anything. And then he mutually decides to go somewhere else.
All right,
and
I'll give you some
rinse,
credit
and
here.
repeat.
Look, I was reading along the rest of the paragraph, and it says after he was fired, it was reported he was fired due to his management style. So I will give you some props there.
Telling you, dude, I don't forget shit like this. I might not be able to remember the dates, but I remember when stories like that break.
You
and what's
swore
talked
he didn't
about.
draft Patrick Mahomes.
Because I remember him getting fired, and I'm telling you, that was part of the story. I can tell you right now, if we dig in deeper, we're going to find out that they drafted Patrick Mahomes because Andy Reid wanted him. Andy Reid liked him, and he probably wanted I bet you he wanted like Mitch Trubisky.
No.
But I'm just saying,
No, Dorsey's not that dumb.
he just
There's only
drafted.
There's only one
Look,
person.
I like Baker Mayfield, but his
and Baker's
tape is,
better than Mitchell. Sorry.
Yeah, he is, but Baker's tape's friggin' horrible. He looks like
Baker
an idiot for drafting.
is better.
He looks like an idiot for drafting Baker Mayfield 1 overall compared to the guys that went after him and the way they're playing. Like right now, Josh Allen looks like the stud of that draft compared to Baker Mayfield. He looks like kind of a dummy. Sorry.
I mean, I give Dorsey another year because I
Oh,
think
he'll get another year, and then the Browns will fire him, and he'll mutually part ways with him and go somewhere else, and he'll rinse and repeat. He's done this everywhere he's went.
See, I can't even say that because there's only one person dumb enough to draft Trubisky. It was Ryan Pace. No one wanted Mitch except Ryan Pace.
Isn't Pace a guy that came from under Dorsey?
No, don't believe so. I don't believe he came from the Chiefs.
No, I mean somewhere else they worked together, I thought.
Dorsey went to Kansas City, then Cleveland, man. That's all he went to.
Oh, I'm thinking of Scott Pioli, sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say, no, Ryan Pace, I'm going to have to go back and look where he came from.
I can't remember where he came from for some reason. Maybe that's because he came out of a sewer.
Pace was brought through in, let's see, he was brought through the executive office of the Saints.
Okay.
and then he was given an interview for the Jets in 2015, but instead then he went to the Bears of 2015. So yeah, he came from the Saints. He came from